Kepsha's National Executive Board, it is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives and empowering minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management in a Comprehensive School Setup. As we celebrate 2 decades of excellence, let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of leaders. Save the date, 4th to 10th November at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairperson for participation. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we launch our 5-year strategic plan. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
To our esteemed delegates, on behalf of Kepsha's National
Association, AGM and Conference, and of course, as you all know, this is the 20th anniversary of Kepsha, and here we are talking about the theme of rethinking school management of a comprehensive school framework. I'm here with a teacher from all the way from Busia to talk to us about comprehensive or rethinking management of a comprehensive school and basically CBC issues that are affecting the learners and the teachers in general. Karibu, Madam Eunice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My name, and specifically, advantage is that the management will be quite easier, knowing that you just have one school and not maybe 3 schools. So the management is going to be easier in a way or another.
Rethinking management in a comprehensive school framework. Basically, how do you think we should actually go about the management of a comprehensive school?
Yeah, so the first thing is that the government should check on 3 main areas. Talk about the human resource, and then we look at the finance resource, which is very key, and then the infrastructure aspect of it, just to improve 1 or 2 things here and there, and then everything will be good to go.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Madam Eunice,
Yes.
how has the JSS been in your school? What has been the experience?
Okay, initially when we started, that was last year, this year, 2023.
Yes.
Yeah, as usual, anything new coming will cause some panic here and there. But after about a month and 2 months or so, we managed to press on with the challenges that we had at hand, and we worked on them. And I want to say that come July, August, September, we had gotten the direction, the bearing, and we moved on so well. But I can't miss to say that we had some challenges here and there, especially when it came to human resource, the teachers for JSS. We didn't receive all the teachers at once. When it started, some schools started with 1 teacher, and then later on, another one was added. But towards the end, we were able, I speak specifically for my school, I was able to receive 3 teachers to deal with the 3 major learning areas, that is the integrated sciences, languages, and social subjects. So it worked, though at first there were major challenges. Yeah, because there were gaps. The teachers did not come at once. So the learners had to stay for some time without certain areas being attended to. But I'm grateful in that the teachers in the primary section, those ones who had a qualification, stepped in and assisted the teachers who had been sent to junior secondary, and things moved on. And the other challenge that we faced was on teaching learning materials. We didn't receive the teaching learning materials at once. It came bit by bit, but at the end of it, we managed to address the issues positively. Yeah.
And that is why CS Machogu, Ezekiel Machogu,
Yeah.
Honorable CS of Education,
Yeah.
actually praised you teachers for adjusting very well
Yeah.
to the challenges that are coming up
Yeah.
from JSS.
That's
So-
very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are some of the recommendations that you think are very important on JSS management so
Yeah.
that the education can be smooth sailing?
Yeah, there are a few changes that will request the government to put in place, and if possible to move with speed, particularly the aspect of the teaching learning materials. We are requesting the government to move with speed and deliver the materials as quickly as possible, now that both the government and the institutions have known
From Kitui, who will be talking to us about the experiences of JSS and some of the recommendations he recommends so that we can improve the junior secondary school going forward. Remember, we are in a CBC framework, and so far CBC has been doing very well. Education that is from the primary to junior secondary school. Karibu mwalimu, and introduce yourself.
I'm Robert Baluki from Kamunyi Primary.
KICD. You're here at the Sheikh Zayed Welfare Center in Mombasa County. First of all, let's talk about CBC in comparison to the 844. What do you think of CBC?
Well, CBC, I can say it is very much at this time round in CBC. We have so many activities which learners are engaged in, and it is more of learner-centered than teacher-centered.
And
primary schools are very many, and they are close to the learners' premises. So it is very advantageous to the learners, and when it is domiciled to junior school. But if it were to be taken to secondary school, half of them would attend secondary school because of the distances and so many other challenges.
was that the main reason why it was domiciled in primary school? Because it's in to you. Wonderful. So you're saying that we're talking about the comprehensive management of a comprehensive school. How do you think we should actually
Though we, make sensitization to the teachers so that they can be aware and utilize those materials.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been good having you at the studio. For the whole country. I am Zachary Kago.
Thank you.
So what do you think of the commission? Have you been here at the conference the whole day?
Yeah.
Did you listen to the minister's?
Mr. Machomi, Professor Machomi.
Did you listen? Yes. Right. So you can tell me the highlights that really made.
And karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
To our esteemed delegates, on behalf of Kepsha's National Executive Board, it is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives and empowering minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management as we celebrate 2 decades of excellence. Let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of 4th to 10th November at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairpersons. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
Well, you're watching Edu Channel on YouTube, and we are in Mombasa for the Kepsha 20th anniversary. The Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association 20th anniversary.
Which are sub-county.
I've seen in this Kepsha HJSS. So what message really came out that is strong enough for you to take home?
The strong message was the teachers, especially the head. They will remain the principals of the comprehensive school as it was Roman and the ECD, and the principal was coming to be overall, yes, as a comprehensive school principal. But now in the conference, the CS clarified that the head teachers would remain to be the principal of the comprehensive, and that was system. Only that in the beginning we have had a lot of hiccups, especially on the side of teachers. Initially they posted some subjects, and you see these teachers, they specialize, especially when they are at the university, in
So
2 areas.
let's now focus on how important is CBC to us?
To date, as opposed to the other system,
Yes.
where they are only receiving
practical oriented, and the kids will have a place where they can go, especially in sciences. So at least if the government can provide.
CBC goes as far as it can and become a quality education for all learners in Kenya. I am Zachary Kago. Stay tuned to Edu Channel for this.
Thank you.
On behalf of Kepsha's National Executive to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives, minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management in a Comprehensive School Setup. As we celebrate 2 decades of excellence, let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of leaders. Save the date, 4th to 10th November, at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairperson for participation. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we launch our 5-year strategic plan. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
To talk about the junior secondary school and how she has maneuvered in her school, the challenges that she has experienced in making sure that JSS works. I'm Zachary Kago. I hope you're watching Edu Channel right now. And Karibu Mwalimu, introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Mrs. Oprong Rosemary
Yes.
from Busia County, Western Region. Yeah, Tezo North Sub-County.
All right.
Yeah,
You come from very far.
very fine
That
indeed.
is how many kilometers? Almost 900.
Yeah. Has had very many positive responses, especially from our learners, because now
Yes.
there's no threat of the children feeling like dropping out, because all their needs and interests are catered for. Those who are good in academics, those who are good in sport, they are all feeling that they are all catered for. So that is the bigger role that CBC is doing, and each child at least can do something
Wonderful.
without any intimidation.
Yes.
Yeah, initially
Yes.
somebody would feel like, how many marks am I going to score in KCP?
Yes.
And at level 7, they would feel like running away not to register because it will be a humiliation to the family.
Okay.
So now we have educated the parents, and there's no cause of alarm. So we have given them the rules, and we have educated them on after grade 9 where the children are going. So CBC is here to stay, and as teachers we are happy.
Wonderful. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes. So talking about junior secondary school.
Yeah.
And what are you talking about? What are your compliments concerning the managing of a comprehensive school now that it has been combined to form a comprehensive school? We are talking about primary, and the JSS. So what are your comments on the management of such a school?
My comment would be, after appreciating the government on the role I'm playing as the principal, we now feel that we should also be given that uplift, that support, so that as we manage these levels, we are comfortable as principals, we are recognized in terms of promotions, so that as you give that service, at least the teachers do not feel we are still the same. The community does not feel we are still the same. So once we are elevated to some level to fit in the shoes of a principal, because initially what was outside there was that we were mere P1s, would not manage those schools. But now, when our teachers came in from the universities, graduates, they found that most of the principals now in primary have gone up to having master's degrees and PhDs. So now there is calm on the ground. So now it is the part of the government to look at the effort we put in to go for further education as principals and elevate us to that level. So that as we do our duty, we are also feeling that we are at the right place.
So I'm sure the government will look into that. Now let's talk about some of the issues that you've experienced in JSS and how you maneuvered in the JSS in your school.
As we admitted these young kids, we never had the set books.
Yes.
So
The
we
books,
had
basically.
the books specifically.
Yes. So how did you maneuver?
We had to go down to download
Yes.
from the internet a few copies that made the teachers run. And that is how we sustained the children at school up to the time the government brought in the books.
All right.
But we still have a challenge on the books because the readers are not with us. The readers are not with us, and that is the challenge we have had, especially with the assessment that we just concluded before close of schools. The readers there were texts that were brought from those readers, but the children had not set their eyes on the readers. So it is a request right from KICD to the publishers that when schools open in 2024, we pray that our pioneer classes should be able to get the readers. And I think we shall move on.
So what's unique about JSS as compared to the lower primaries? What's unique about it, according to you?
What I can say about maybe the uniqueness of the JSS, we have had it right from the uniform. We had to change that uniform, and that already made the learners feel there was a transition from primary to secondary school. So another unique thing is about the practicals. You know, initially we have been having practicals, but you know, for now, our children have even had the opportunity to go to neighboring high schools and take the practicals right from the laboratories.
Wonderful.
Which has not been the position.
Yes.
So that could also again translate to a challenge that we may not, because if you look at the primary schools, they are close together, and you might find 5 primary schools against one secondary school, and you want to take the practicals, then it doesn't become practical.
Okay.
So would request that the government does something about bringing the home science labs, the chemistry labs, and all those laboratories.
Okay.
Then that JSS will be real. The learning will be real.
So you think it should be brought closer? So that's wonderful. What do you think are your recommendations, or what are your recommendations, especially on human resource, on dealing with the JSS?
Yeah, the human resource is also a big challenge because you look at most of our rural schools, the government was only able to post 2 teachers to 3 teachers.
So what are your recommendations?
We recommend that the government makes it possible that they send us teachers across all the learning areas so that the children are comfortable and we are able to cover the syllabi in time.
Which numbers are comfortable, even if you don't get the 9, maybe which numbers are comfortable for JSS?
At least 6 teachers and above.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least 6.
Okay.
2 is on a lower side.
Okay.
Then we are training the primary counterparts to come up and help them.
They will sort it out. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We
We've been
shall
talking
be
to a teacher all the way from Busia, and you're listening, or you're watching actually, Edu channel on YouTube. I am Zachary Kago. We've been having many more of these interviews talking about how teachers have maneuvered the JSS scenario in this school. We are committed as KICD to ensure that CBC is well implemented.
To our esteemed delegates, on behalf of Kepsha's National Executive Board, it is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary, commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives and empowering minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management in a Comprehensive School Setup. As we celebrate 2 decades of excellence, let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of leaders. Save the date, 4th to 10th November at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairperson for participation. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we launch our 5-year strategic plan. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
From the Ministry of Education, directors from Teacher Service Commission, and all officers or field officers from the ministry and from the Teacher Service Commission. Esteemed aid teachers, distinguished guests, Kepsha partners, sponsors, and well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen, may I take this opportunity to welcome you to our 20th Annual Delegates Conference and 20th Anniversary celebrations today. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest, sir, we also decided to celebrate this occasion together with our pioneer leaders who are here and who I wish to recognize. Since the inception of Kepsha, sir, Kepsha has had 4 chairmen. The one who is talking is the 5th chairman, and out of the 4 chairmen, one who was the first chairman, Mr. Titus Waithaka, is late as to date. So today, with us are the other 3, and I would wish to call upon them to be upstanding for appreciation and probably come and say hello to our chief guest. Our former chairs, can you come and shake hands with our chief guests? Sir, the first to shake your hand is Mr. Nicholas Gademia. Nicholas Gademia is the immediate former chairman of Kepsha. Followed by Mr. Ndolo. Mr. Ndolo is the one who handed over to Mr. Gademia. And Mr. Karuga. Mr. Karuga is the one who was handed over by our first chairman, the late Titus Waithaka. Give them an applause. Please appreciate our former chairman. Thank you very much. As the chairperson of Kepsha, now I wish from the onset to thank Honorable Ezekiel Machogu, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, and Dr. Belio Kipsang, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Basic Education, and also Dr. Jamlek Muturi, the Chairman, Teacher Service Commission, and all our esteemed guests for finding time in their busy schedules to attend this conference. Sir, we cannot underrate the fact that there is an exam which is going on. Our KCSE exams are going on, but most of the officers here who are supposed to be elsewhere, they devoted their time to open the containers very early in the morning and decided to spare some time to be with us, something which we really appreciate. Members, can you appreciate that? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya has made tremendous progress in meeting transformative promise of the UN Agenda of 2030 of Sustainable Development Goal number 4 of leave no one child behind, and attainment of basic education, a fundamental right recognized in the Kenya Constitution. Kepsha has contributed immensely to achieving this milestone through its various programs and initiatives. Kepsha recognizes the pivotal role played by primary school heads in shaping the educational landscape of our nation. Our actions, decisions, and guidance impact the lives of thousands of young minds who look up to us as role models and mentors directly. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to announce that this conference will be the platform for launching our association's strategic plan for the year 2024-2028. This plan is the culmination of countless hours of dedication and hard work by our members, reflecting the collective wisdom, experience, and vision of primary school head teachers across the country. It is a testament to our unwavering commitment to our learners' welfare and advancement of primary education as a whole. The 2024-2028 Kepsha Strategic Plan outlines our association's goals, objectives for the future, and the steps we will take to achieve these results. It identifies the challenges we face and provides innovative solutions that will not only strengthen primary education, but also empower our primary school leadership to foster learning environments that are both inclusive and dynamic. The plan sets ambitious targets, aiming for the highest quality of education, equitable access, and the holistic development of our learners. With this strategic plan, Kepsha commits to foster an inclusive and diverse learning environment where every learner is valued and their potential is unlocked. We vow to a future with safe, nurturing, and innovative schools. We pledge to equip our teachers with the tools and knowledge required to engage and inspire our learners. In this regard, the strategic period 2024-2028 focuses on accomplishing 6 key strategic objectives, and one is enhancing the leadership capacity and expertise of primary school head teachers to adapt to evolving educational contexts and practices. 2, enhancing the welfare and wellness of the members. 3, strengthening strategic partnerships to foster robust knowledge exchange and facilitate continuous learning. And 4, enhancing stakeholder engagement and policy reform for quality education provision. 5, promoting equitable access and inclusive primary education for all the learners. And the last one, 6, optimizing institutional efficiency, effectiveness, and long-term sustainability for the association. I urge all the school heads, and not just those who are present here today, to embrace this on pre-primary schools, primary schools, and junior school. We are also humbly requesting, sir, that there is timely disbursements of LPE capitation to both our primary school and our junior secondary school. And we are also requesting that as the capitation is timely disbursed, we also have timely guidelines on the board heads to guide our head teachers on how to implement the expenditures of this capitation which are sent to schools. So, in the past, we have had some challenges where the term NEMIS has been coming in, but we have tried, I want to assure you, sir, that we as head teachers have tried to ensure that our children are registered through NEMIS. We also want to assure you that where the children have not been registered, we are consulting intensively with the local administration to ensure that the children are given birth certificates to facilitate the registration on NEMIS. Therefore, we will really appreciate that capitation hits the accounts of the schools before the schools open to enable us plan wisely and smooth running in our schools. In closing, as we embark on this exciting journey of educational transformation, let us remain united in our mission to empower our learners and elevate primary education quality in Kenya. Thank you all for your commitment, dedication, and the remarkable contribution you make to our primary education and now into comprehensive school learning. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the invaluable support and contribution of our dedicated members, the organizers, sponsors, and all those who have worked tirelessly to make this conference and the launch of our strategic plan possible. I look forward to a fruitful discussion, shared insights, and collaborations that the conference will undoubtedly foster. Our chief guest is Sir. As we commemorate this day, we have also identified some head teachers who have gone out of the way and furthered their studies. And I want to call upon just a few who have managed to acquire their PhDs just for recognition, sir. If I call your name, if you are around, please, you can just come around here. You'll be seen. We really recognize you and value. Dr. Susi Nafula Warunga. Dr. Kanyaru Samuel Wakori. Dr. Wekesa Moses Soita. Dr. Philip Cheruyot Keter. Dr. Omalo Philip Wafula. Dr. Makero Jennifer Taraka. Dr. Jane Patia. Dr. Lynette Rakiro. Dr. Okongo Calvins. Dr. Isipuke Ruth Caroline. Dr. Joshua Wino. Dr. Patrick Koech Kitur. Dr. Elikana Muchache Gichana. Dr. Margaret Nekesa Shibo Wahoro. Dr. Esther Wambua. Dr. Mary Wangoi Makumi. Dr. Rebecca Buari Aroko. Dr. Margaret Nekesa Shibo. Dr. Elizabeth Nanyama Mabele. Dr. Maurice Onyango Akumu. Dr. Philip Wafula.
To our esteemed delegates, on behalf of Kepsha's National Executive Board, it is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you
Well, it is another session of Kepsha AGM 20th anniversary here in Mombasa, Sheikh Zayed Welfare, Children's Welfare. And Johnson Zioka has actually been talking about teachers who actually managed to do masters and acknowledging them for the work that they have done. Also, initially, talking and having a lot of promises from the government concerning the capitation for the head teachers of all the schools in this country. Today we'll talk about ICT integration in education, and I have a teacher here to talk about that and talk more about the JSS experience that he has had in his school. Karibu. Integrated ICT lessons online.
True.
And tell us basically the impact that that has had to learners.
Let me first of all say that ICT integration in our teaching, learning, it is the way to go. And these are the lessons we got from Corona pandemic. It taught us several lessons. And you never know, God forbid, you never know what can happen in future. Things can happen the same as they happened during the Corona pandemic. We find ourselves being home to a time that is not, you cannot tell. So I think the best way to go is start thinking on, in case something of the sort happens, then which one is the next option, rather than only putting emphasis on the traditional classes that we have. One thing about online learning is, one, it is quite interesting to learners. And I did it, I applied during the COVID pandemic.
Yes.
For me, I did not, I never rested. I looked for a way for my learners to continue learning, and indeed I want to confirm that they learned throughout the COVID season and uninterrupted. So one thing I realized is that these kids, when given opportunity, when given necessary facilities, they can do very well in ICT. As you know, there are so many materials that one can obtain through ICT. Through Googling, you can Google, get materials and what have you. So it is better and it has more advantages than you as a teacher going to class, traditional class, and teaching, and you keep on referring from one textbook to another. In ICT, it is about just a press of a button, and you have all the materials that you have. Two, ICT integration, it gives learners that opportunity to manage their time. They can manage their time on their own, and it is an aspect that we train into our learners. That at this particular time, I'm supposed to be doing this and this online and what have you. So there's that aspect of managing time that is inculcated through ICT. ICT also, you know, it is the way to go. Things are now happening digital, you know, and we need to train our kids on how to use these gadgets. We have the mobile phones, we have computers and what have you. This is the way to go. And as I said, you never know what can happen in the future. We also have issues of inadequacy with the teachers and staffing, you know. It is an issue. most schools don't have enough teachers. You see, when we integrate ICT, those even schools that do not have specific teachers in given learning areas, they can still go on learning at their own disposal. And you see, we have now what we call smartphones. They are not so expensive. You can get them, and learning can still go on. Like, and I've done it through WhatsApp, through YouTube, through Facebook, and I have so many learners you cannot even imagine. Around 50,000 learners following me. They ask questions, and I can be able to reach learners across the country, you can imagine.
All right.
Yes.
And remember that also you can log into KEC, speaking about online, you can log into Kenya Education Cloud for this and many more lessons. And of course our teacher here has been doing a great job teaching learners online as a result of what happened 3 years ago. Now tell us about JSS. First of all, let's talk about managing a comprehensive school. What are your opinions and recommendations on managing a comprehensive school as a theme of this year's Kepsha conference?
Now, there are several things that are supposed to be done in order to manage properly a comprehensive school.
Yes.
And it has some cost implication. One thing that the government is supposed to do is to increase capitation, increasing capitation in schools. Because, without funds, then you can imagine how things can look like in schools. So I want to believe that with the proper funding, then things, GSS, a comprehensive school, it will be smooth to run effectively such schools. Two, we have the issue of staffing, as I've mentioned earlier. What is happening with junior secondary schools? Teachers who are employed they have areas of specialization, And you see, the government is also, or TSC, supposed to consider when employing such a teachers in a given school, they must also do that in line with the demand in the school. For example, if you post 2 mathematics teachers in one school, what about these other learning areas? So it is something that is supposed to be seriously taken into account so that we have a smooth learning in our schools.
You realize Machogo and Johnson and Zioka talked about increase of capitation for next year. So we are expecting that to happen next year.
Yes.
And hoping that the government is committed enough to make sure that the capitation is increased. So we are looking forward to that. So continue.
So that's exactly what. And then we have, as managers of these schools, we need to undergo a lot of training, retooling and what have you, so that we are properly trained on how to manage the schools, on financial aspects, on other managerial aspects, what have you. You see, this is it is now something that it is more complex,
How complex is the managerial aspect of managing a comprehensive school as opposed to the current situation or the previous situation?
Of course, there is human resource that will increase.
Definitely.
There is also the cost of running the school will also increase. And as we are urging the government to increase capitation, then it also means that we are also going to deal with a lump sum of money, a big financial asset that will be sent in our schools.
Yes.
So we really need to be trained on this properly so that we don't find ourselves in a situation that we are not doing the right thing. So it's about training, workshops to be organized, proper workshops, so that the managers of schools, the heads of institutions are well equipped and trained so that we have our schools being run effectively.
Do you think the workshops will start from at the end of this Kepsha conference? To start the workshops immediately?
It must start, in my opinion, I feel it must start immediately, or almost immediately.
All right.
Because with education, I feel that the point at which we start matters a lot. If we start on our wrong foot, then that is it.
So let me ask you, now that the number of teachers are usually 2 for every class or for every school basically,
Yes.
how have you maneuvered the
Pardon?
JSS? How have you maneuvered the JSS with a little number of teachers?
See, that is a big challenge that we are having.
So how have you maneuvered?
What we have been doing is that we have been also asking these other teachers from the primary level to come in. Those who have knowledge on a certain area, instead of leaving the learners just to stay like that.
Yes.
That's exactly what we are doing. We are told also teachers are not even being told, teachers are supposed to be all round, supposed to be creative enough. These learners have been put under our care and our leadership, and therefore we must ensure that learning is going on, despite the fact that we are having these challenges here and there. But as we do that, I also urge the government to speedily look for a way of employing teachers who are, with the bonding with the area of specialization and the need of the school.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
For especially the initiatives that you've done to teach learners online.
Yes.
That has been that I must say it's passion from you. And I hope that you continue teaching.
Thank you.
Because that's what you need to do
It is
for the coming generation.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we are having quite interesting conversations here talking about also to watch Edu channel, and you have very many content in Edu channel on YouTube. And of course we have been talking to our teacher here who has been doing a very good job teaching online when there was a crisis. We all know what crisis we had last year, actually it's 3 years,
Yes,
3 years back, 2000 and 2021. So I am Zachary Kago. Continue watching Edu channel, and remember we also have the Kenya Education Cloud. A lot of lessons are within the
Professor Rito, my friend Nabwera Nabi, Member of Parliament for Ugari, the Chairman, Teacher Service Commission, the representative of Kenya Commercial Bank, and all the officials of Kepsha, all the head teachers of our schools. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Amjambo muko. Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. I'm happy that you extended the invitation for me to be here this afternoon. Make sure that we get the necessary required funds in our education committee, and not only that, even the amendments that we make from education cannot go through courtesy of our two friends. So si wawasalamia jameni.
Thank you. Our guest of honor, the CS for education, the PS and all protocols observed. My employers, hamjambo. Now, I just have two things to say. One is to thank all of you that we have been very resilient in difficult times in implementing JSS. Thank you so much. The second thing I would like to say to this congregation, CS, is that I'm looking forward next year to slightly a different way of programming our discussion. What do I have in mind? When you are facing the challenges we are facing, we don't need to do this. We need to do more of plenary. We should be having a discussion, looking for solution from all of us than giving speeches. That is my recommendation. Credibility is what holds a nation. Values are driven from you people. And we are requesting our brothers in the senior school that please, we are building values.
It is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives and empowering minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management in a Comprehensive School Setup. As we celebrate 2 decades of excellence, let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of leaders. Save the date, 4th to 10th November, at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairperson for participation. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we launch our 5-year strategic plan. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani. Karibu Mombasani. Welcome to Mombasa.
Here at Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center in Mombasa for the Kepsha 20th anniversary. That is the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association. We are having the AGM and the conference together. And also we are marking 20th birthday of Kepsha, which heads all teachers in the country, especially primary school teachers. I have a teacher with me here to talk about JSS, that is Junior Secondary School. This is a special year for junior secondary school students. It is the first time they are experiencing junior secondary school, and the excitement beginning at of the year was quite high, where obviously they even got new uniforms to mark the transition from grade 6 to grade 7. But how has the JSS been handled by the teachers? That's the question we want to ask with our guest here from Busia, all the way from Busia. Introduce yourself, Molly.
Thank you. My name is Viti Zodong, currently the head teacher of the principal of Butunyi Mixed Primary and Junior. Butunyi Mixed
Butunyi
Primary and Junior Secondary.
Ah,
Yes.
wonderful. So basically, let's talk about Kepsha conference, 20th anniversary. What has been the highlight of the Kepsha conference of this year?
The highlights have been on how we have managed and maneuvered through handling the JSS learners throughout the year. And we have also had to say goodbye to the old 844 system. We have also had Kepsha, our current various activities, which initially they were unable to do it at 844. 844 was more of a theory, CBC is more of practical, and indeed they have done their best. We are happy. Our learners are now responsible. When they go back at home, they transfer the knowledge and skills acquired at school, they transfer at home. So I'm sure at the moment, parents, despite the fact that the holiday is going to be very long, but our learners will be equipped. They'll do a lot, and the parents will be happy about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. So you are a head teacher in that school that you mentioned.
Yes.
From Busia. And let me ask you about your experiences of the junior secondary school.
Yes.
How has your experience been, being the first year and the initial year?
I would say, personally, I've been a teacher in the JSS classroom. I've taught English. I've also taught performing arts. I remember during my school days, that is where I specialized in art and design and music. So personally, I've been very happy. I've had a nice experience. I've encouraged my learners, even my JSS teachers have been really encouraged and they admire. So we share our experiences, and I'm happy that something has taken place. Our learners have adjusted. They now understand why they're in the JSS, and they're willing and ready to tackle grade 9 after grade 8, that is. So I'm sure when they'll be taking their pathways, we shan't have challenges.
So let me ask you, how did you fill in the gaps? Because there's a general feeling that the JSS learners have not really actually acclimatized to grade 7. They have not really grasped the grade 7 completely.
Okay, what I can say, I happen to be a new principal in that school. I've just shifted this year in February. So what I did, I talked to my new staff. I told them I'm new, but that doesn't mean I'm new in the field. So as a staff, we agreed before even the JSS teachers arrived. We shared amongst ourselves. We said, if you're handling grade 6, let's proceed. So as the JSS teachers arrived, we went for a retooling, and we continued sharing and even assisting them to understand CBC. So at the moment, they are now at home, and we have continued assisting where there is no teacher.
So normally, where has the gap been in JSS?
Okay, the gap was our colleagues have just left university. Some of them had not had a chance to teach maybe on board. So somehow they were feeling they are not very comfortable, but we have encouraged them. And at the moment, they are saying, oh, this is great. There is no need of even going back to the other side of the secondary. We are here to stay.
Wonderful. That's a very positive aspect coming from you.
Yeah.
So actually, you've answered how you've maneuvered the JSS.
Yes.
So what is your opinion about the theme, embracing, rethinking management of a comprehensive school? So what is your actually recommendation? Because everybody thinks that it's a good thing. But what are your recommendations for that?
For me, I would rather say you put yourself into the shoe. Look at your environment. Learn something from the environment. And then move on. It's not very, it doesn't have to make you think a lot. Because they are the same learners you have had in grade 6. And we are used to them. So our work is to tell them you are moving to a new stage, you are developing.
and you need to develop and move on. You don't have to remain where you are.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
I am hoping that we continue very well to make sure that the JSS is here with us and it's well implemented and that learners get the most out of it.
Yes. For my learners, I can say they didn't miss anything out.
Yes.
We took good care of them.
You do a very good job. In fact, teaching profession is one of the most noble professions in this country.
Yes.
And you work so hard, and we like the commitment that you had towards your learners. Continue with that work.
Thank you.
All right. You're watching Edu Channel, and of course, stay tuned for this and many more. And
to convey his best regards and greetings and the best wishes to all the teachers of Kenya and all the principals gathered here this afternoon. Mopokea salamu ya Mheshimiwa Rais. Now, from my speech, you are going to get the kind of policy pronouncements that have been made before, and if I don't make them, you will be able to see from my body language where the education sector is heading. You know, 1 month ago, I attended a workshop which lasted for 2 weeks in Harvard University, and one of the discussions we had was what Mheshimiwa Nabia said. We had a kind of plenary with the former presidents who were our resource persons, or ministers of education from Africa and other developing countries. And of course, it was an engagement. And my friend, we will give you the time to say hi. Foreigners and our friends from KNUT. Jameni si muwatambulishe. Yeah, because these are our main stakeholders, stakeholders, and in a time like this, I'm sure they also have a word to share. So during that particular time, we said yes, generate ideas, but as you also generate ideas, which goes into a process of planning, implementation is the most critical stage of anything that you do. So we said 90% of what we do will be in implementation, making sure that whatever is discussed and agreed upon is actually implemented. And that's why me and my peers will be able to tell you this day what we have done so far concerning and pertaining to the recommendations made by the Presidential Working Party, recommendations which were presented to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya on the 1st of August this year. And I was given the great mandate to ensure that we implement those particular recommendations. And the recommendations, in one way or the other, affect you. But before I come to that, Chairman, to thank you very, very much for this great milestone, this great team, the 20th anniversary of Kepsha. You have done it well, you have kept the fire burning, and indeed you have promoted the ethos of proper management and governance in our institutions of running. And because of that, Kenya in the region and internationally is known because of the quality and the kind of education standards that we are able to offer. So, pongera kwenu. Pongezi kubwa for what you have done. You have done us proud as a sector and as education. These conferences, Chairperson, create a unique forum for sharing experiences, benchmarking, and networking. They had an opportunity to reflect on the past and the present and forge a common front to face the future. Through them, each one of us picks important lessons with which we can improve our performance. Such opportunities are particularly important now that the education sector is undergoing extensive reforms, which some of them are going to tell you how far we are and what we intend to do in the very near future. The reforms require the development and the implementation of policies, legal instruments, and the programs that will steer the sector towards greater efficiency and effectiveness. I know that the theme of this conference is rethinking education management within a comprehensive school framework, inspiring innovation for a sustainable impact in the present and the future decades. This theme is befitting because it revolves around one of the key reform education areas for our implementation, which is the introduction of the comprehensive school system. I'm sure you are aware of that. This forum, therefore, is an excellent opportunity to dialogue and share perspectives on how we can best effect these and other recommended reforms. Over the last few years, we have been progressively rolling out the competence-based curriculum with the junior school starting this year. The progressive rollout of KBC started in your institutions. I must thank and commend you all for the remarkable work that you have done to make the rollout a continuing success. As we seek to inspire innovation for sustainable impact in the education sector, let us remember that the CPC has been designed as a model that prepares children to be competent and achieve mastery of what they learn through innovation and creativity while encouraging inclusion and diversity. There is no doubt that the competence-based education opens up schools and learners to expanded learning opportunities and deepen sustainability. I want to emphasize here that CPC focuses on the learner. The teacher, as a facilitator of learning under CPC, is continuously trying to prepare adequately so as to meet the needs of each individual learner. I urge all of us to acknowledge that we must innovate so that our teaching approaches respond to these changing times in the education landscape. This is particularly the case with foundational learning, which is the level of education squarely within your mandate. Foundational learning provides the building blocks for all other subsequent learning, knowledge, and skills that the children and the young people attain through education. Without proper foundational learning, our children will not reach their full potential in the society. As a government, we are keen to ensure that all children access foundational learning as part of basic education. As you all know, Article 53 of our Constitution is categorical that basic education is free and compulsory. I have to point out, however, that we are not in on compulsory education for formalistic purposes. The free and the compulsory education must also be quality education if it is to have any meaning and relevance. There is therefore need to appreciate for appropriate teaching methodologies and the support and supervision of the various curriculum implementers to guarantee quality. Achieving quality education is a collaborative effort that requires all of us to work jointly. The government will play its role in providing an enabling legal and a policy environment. Indeed, the reforms that we are currently implementing are aimed at creating such an environment. The government will also continue to support schools and learners through capitation. This is part of the obligation of the state in the program. Currently, we fund each learner at Kenya shillings 1,420. For the junior school, the government provides capitation at the rate of Kenya shillings 15,042 per annum. Learners in our secondary schools are funded at 22,240 per annum. From our evaluation and taking into account the economies of scale, these capitation amounts, if properly utilized, will be adequate to support the efficient running and the management of schools. I wish to commit on behalf of the government that we will continue supporting our schools and the runners with the requisite capitation. I also wish to clarify that contrary to recent reports in section of the media, there is no intention on the part of the government to increase school fees. And I require to repeat that there is totally no intention by the government of William Samoei Ruto to increase the school fees in the secondary or in the junior school. I will be able to elaborate what the Education Committee and we as a government are doing to make sure that the figures as indicated here will be given to us by National Treasury, and for sure we consider that to be adequate. So there will be no increase. The school fees for boarding schools will remain at the currently approved rates. School administrators will therefore be required to ensure adherence to the prevailing circulars and directives on the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, principals, including those who are not here, principals of secondary schools, the chairman of the Teacher Service Commission is here, and I think is clearly getting this message. This is a constitutional matter, enshrined in Article 53 of the Constitution of this country. Anybody going against that particular provision in the Constitution, it will not only amount to gross misconduct, but I think a violation of the Constitution itself. So you know, the task force are set in 2018 because people had gone rogue. Secondary schools, some of them, I don't want to give examples, were charging 200,000 per year. Others 150,000. Education was becoming unaffordable for many Kenyans. It was becoming a preserve of the rich. And that is why the government said, no, enough is enough, because actually most of that money that was being charged in our schools was going into people's pockets. That is the truth of the matter. You also know, even the issue of textbooks, the money was being given directly to schools. Yeah, good ones were buying the books, but a number of them were also not buying the textbooks. So money was available, but you will go to a school, you find the necessary required materials were not available. So that is why, as a government, we are saying education must be available for all. As one said here, Nelson Mandela said the most powerful tool, the tool that will be able to ensure social equality for all of us, the child of a president, a peasant, a person who does not own anything, the greatest equalizer is education. So we don't want a situation where we can be able to deny a number of Kenyans the opportunity to access education by making it unaffordable. So anybody who does not want to be a head teacher, we are not forcing him or her. You can relinquish, and there are so many Kenyans who can be able to take up that opportunity and serve well, of course conforming to what the government has put in place. So I wish to commit that we will support all our schools with the required capitation, and that's why the other day I thank our members of parliament, the Committee on Education, because we did engage on this. And a part of the recommendation that you will also be able to see in the Presidential Working Party report is on this funding in our basic. There is something known as essential package. We have put up a case, and the government progressively is going to provide. But for this coming term, what we are assuring schools, and especially our members of parliament are here, even the figures, the amounts that we were missing from what had been provided for in the budget, have the assurance and the faith that it is going to be available, such that we give those amounts, and with the prudent management, financial management in our schools, which we expect from the board of management, plus the chief executives of schools, we don't expect that people will come and say, this and this has happened, so we expect more. And yesterday, PS, you know, I called the director secondary because I already had the arrest. I get a lot of information. What goes on every day, my peers knows, chairman, every part of the country. Sipige kelele sana, huwezi kuona Machogu ni mtu ya drama, lakini mambo rasmi yafanyike vile inatakikana. I also wish to clarify that contrary to recent reports, I think I've said that, the government's commitment to the education sector is clear in the fact that we have the highest budgetary allocation. This financial year, the government allocated 30% of the total national budget to the sector. The allocation will be utilized to fund capitation, provide textbooks and other learning resources, recruit additional teachers, and boost infrastructure in our schools. You are aware that this year, and again we are seeking additional, which I'm sure we are getting a supplementary one, the amount allocated to education sector, 630 billion, the highest ever since the time we attained our independence. School heads and the teachers generally also have an important role in delivering quality education. As teachers, you have the guardians of knowledge, the mentors of our youth, and the leaders shaping the next generation of citizens. Your role in the education reform process cannot be overstated. Already, you have demonstrated great capacity in overseeing the transition to junior school after the decision was made that junior school will be hosted in existing primary schools. I sincerely commend you for that. Once again, kindly, we don't take it for granted because we at the ministry headquarters would not have been able to operationalize this. As I was looking at the task ahead of us, me and my peers here, even as we were rolling out the regulations which we sent to each and every one of you, you did implement them seamlessly, smoothly, and in an excellent manner. Mimi nawatolea kofia. Jamani, you know, when we were coming in, there was a lot of uncertainty in this sector. We did not know, and even the previous regime, when I was inquiring from the officers, they were telling me we were totally in the dark. Courtesy of the root administration and his visionary leadership and the wisdom, he did direct the Presidential Working Party, and the Kenyans were able to give us an answer, and now it is domiciled, and you have done well, and because you have done well, we are also going to reward you. Because as a ministry and the Teacher Service Commission, of course we are working on this, and we are sending a session of paper to Parliament. What we have said, a comprehensive school. There is no angel that we are going to say now we are bringing another angel, and yet you are the people who have been there. You have already been able to showcase, you have demonstrated the ability with the experience you have. I have confidence that you will be able to do what is required in the comprehensive school. As you all know, junior school is an intermediary level that provides our young people with breadth in terms of subject coverage, with the aim of enhancing their intellectual exposure. As administrators and teachers, your role is to nurture the learners and guide them towards their most suitable pathways at the senior school. This is very critical again. Pathways. Yeah, we have said we are going to have 3 pathways in the senior school, and Teacher Service Commission plus ourselves are already preparing the senior school, because in the year 2026, our children will be transiting to senior school, and that's why we said there are 3 pathways. We don't force. The potential of a child can be recognized and seen at an early stage when he's in junior school. If it's STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, you will be able to recognize that this is a STEM material. If it is humanities, social sciences, it will also be easily identifiable that this particular material is for humanities, and therefore he will be encouraged to undertake that. Matters very important extracurricular now is actually in the syllabus, such that we have sports, we have performing art, we have music, we have drama. And you are witnesses, you have seen the guys who are very good in that, but we do not have an opportunity early on for them to advance and nurture their talent so that it can be taken to another level. But now with CPC, we are providing that particular structure so that they can be able to pursue their talent to the highest level possible. In order for the levels of education under your leadership to succeed, you must ensure prudent utilization of resources provided to your institutions. As a country, we are operating in a very tight fiscal space. Even so, the Kenya Kwanza administration has demonstrated commitment to support the sector. The least we can do as sector players is to exercise prudence in the management of all the resources that are at our disposal. This one I don't have to overemphasize, ladies and gentlemen. You are knowledgeable, you know the amount of public debt that we inherited as a country. And I know, whoever was there knew that the repayment period, there was a grace period, and anybody who was going to take over was the one who was going to take the task, the responsibility of repaying the loans, and that is exactly what we are doing, because again, if we are failed, if we are foiled from paying the taxes, then we are kind of taken as a failed state, a republic state. Nobody and no one would like us to be in that kind of state, and that is why you see we are really trying as a country to make sure that we meet our obligations, and the Kenyans, ugonjwa ukiingia mwili kama ni malaria, si lazima sindano itunge ndio upone. Sasa tuko kwa hiyo jameni, na it's only a question of time with the kind of measures that we have been able to put in place for the economy of this particular country to recover. We were in kuwa na subira. Deni ni kungojea, kwa sababu tulipewa example kwamba hata Mungu wakati alitoa akasema kwa wana wa Israeli kwamba ukifika kule mtakuta masiwa na asari, walipoenda walikuta. Ikawa lazima uweke msinga Bwana, lazima uweke ng'ombe ndio ufikie masi. Hata leo Yesu Kristo alisema naenda naru. Leo ukiuliza amerudi au tunangojea? Kwa hivyo tuwe na subira, lakini kutimiza tutatimiza, lakini tuwe na tafadhali. So, as I stated earlier, it is befitting that the theme of the conference revolves around the comprehensive system, and I'm glad that we are sharing that. And I have said about the comprehensive school, and as heads of institutions for comprehensive school system, you should be able to provide an excellent engagement in instruction or leadership by supporting and promoting effective teaching and governance practices. One should offer guidance, resources, and professional development opportunities to teachers, and ensure that instructional strategies align with best practices and learner needs at all levels. And I I want to finalize by giving a summary of the things that we have done so that you are able to understand clearly where we are. And our members of parliament here are very much aware of what we have done, because each and every time we give a report to Parliament also on the progress and our achievements so far. So one, what the Ruto administration did, and the chairman, Teacher Service Commission, you know, credit will be given to where it is. Sindio? Au sasa mimi majogo siwezi mama hapa niseme ni mimi au chairman huyu ni kutekeleza tu, ni mtu ya mkono. Lakini mwenyewe yule ambaye aligundua kwamba walimu wamekaa miaka na miaka bila promotion, CPS tulikuwa hapa tunaangalia tu, chairman tulikuwa. Sasa Ruto administration for 1 year was able to identify that we have a problem with our teachers, and they require that, because it's a very important component of motivation, because we realized, and the president was able to recognize and identify that there was a problem. This particular year, he gave 1 billion for promotion of teachers. As the economy improves, and this one I'm telling you for sure, because if there is one person who recognizes the critical participation of the teacher in the national development of this country, is His Excellency the President. So as we move forward, I'm sure he will be doing more as matters of welfare of teachers are concerned. The chairman, get assured of that. And I want my chairman of Teacher Service Commission, wherever he is, to be able to indicate that very clearly. So the promotions from P1 to CS, 1, 3, 5, Chairman, you should now be able to fast track that. The other thing that I have been able to recognize here is people enhancing their ability, enhancing and increasing their studies, and we have seen people here who have gotten a PhD. I'm here with my peers and my chairman of Teacher Service Commission. Do we only grab and it stops there? Chairman, now, these people, some of them should be in teacher training colleges. Some of them, I have my professor here, I have my peers here. Even the other day, we advertised for positions of quality assurance officers at the top level in the ministry. And I was looking around, we not have qualified people, kumbe watu wako hapa. So I'm encouraging you that Chairman Teacher Service Commission kindly get the rest, because we have to encourage these people. Unless you encourage, people will not be able to take further studies seriously, because even our universities, the people teaching, the quality of teaching in our universities is not to the required level. Why? Because we don't have quality teachers, professors, lecturers. Omwenga knows 47% are only the people with the PhD holders. And we have been encouraging universities that each and every year as we graduate, we want a minimum of 1,000 people getting PhDs. We hardly get that now. So we must reward those who have worked hard and gotten their PhD, and that's why me and my peers, who are the chairman of Teacher Service Commission, we want to combine a data bank so that in one way or the other, we are able to reward these people. Hata umwenga sijui kwa nini hakusema atachukua moja. Because that is the starting point. Even our universities, as we recruit, once I have the data in my office and the peers, we should be able to reward these people. Even in my office, where we require senior positions, We want to get from our own. Directors and the rest, we get from you. So, and those who have not done masters and PhD, please be encouraged. You know, it's only the other day, because I'm aware that even those who are degrees reach that stage where there were no promotions, so people were discouraged. But now see what happened with the junior school, the opportunity. So kindly make sure that you continue advancing your studies, and again now that we have open university here. There are reforms we have taken conforming to the recommendations that have been made by the Presidential Working Party report. One, you know, is the structure. I don't have to elaborate on that. 2, 6, 3, 3. And KICD, we have also reduced the running areas, and I think it took you through. The running areas as reduced, and we did that with SMIWA by the power donated to us by Parliament. When you see the KICD Act, you have given us power to develop and review the curriculum. So following that, we were and we were able to do it. The other thing we have done is with NEP. You are also aware, following the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party report, we have reduced the cluster, the comparison subjects from 5 to 2. We said we don't want to overburden people, because you can't force that everybody will be science oriented. Kama nataka kufanya mambo yake huko, we open the space. So from that, we expect that it will even be able to give us more numbers for our children going to higher education, university and the rest, from the 19.3 that we are to over 20%. We have also opened the space for those who sometimes fail to get a C+, who are at the threshold, that they can be able to do a preaching course in a university, and the Commission for University Education is working on regulations such that we are able to open more space in higher education. We have opened space. You know, our teacher training colleges were closing down, and following the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party, we have now introduced a new entry requirement, and I'm happy because we had only 2,700 in our 32 teacher training colleges. They were actually, the tutors were more than the students. So now that we opened up, following those recommendations, we have now 20,356. Sunday, tulifungua hata ya Kware. Tukiwa na president, the enrollment is impressive. The other day I was in Mandera. I opened the Mandera one. The other day I was in Baringo, and the numbers are impressive. We had the essential package recommended. We are working with the members of Parliament, and be assured that we will be able to take action on that. Registration of schools. When the Ruto administration came in, there was a serious problem. But we have now opened it up, German. If you have seen our primary and secondary schools, my peers and the directors, we have worked very hard and made the process much easier because we said there were many unnecessary conditions. We are working and be assured that a solution will be found. We are one sector. Ministry or Teacher Service Commission si ni sekta moja hii. Lakini unajua iko wengine huko kwenu wanataka ikae njia nyingine so that you don't know where you belong. Ate ujulikane pahali hiko ndio kwa hii serikali hii. Macho wakiwa hapo, we will fix it. Quality assurance itakuwa parimo for better management of that function. Because quality assurance by the end of the day, na ndio nimetoa magari na PS, mliona ilikuwa flagged off. Kila sub county, karibu kila sub county sasa tuko na magari, so that those guys can be able to come and do the work that they are supposed to do. I don't want to take you through, but grade 9 that we will be able to get into in the year 2025 as a ministry, as a government. This year we have given a conditional grant to members of parliament, and we will do 6,000. We will do 6,000 classrooms because we want to prepare for grade 9. In the year coming also, we are negotiating with our development partners. We are likely to do 9,000 more classrooms, such that when we get the year 2025, we will be ready with the classroom. So musiwe na wasiwasi hapo. Hapo musiwe na wasiwasi. Jameni, Dr. Chuma alisema mambo ya climate change. Mimi ningetaka kuwaulisha kitu moja tufanye kwa unyenyekevu sana. We passed it in cabinet that the Green Army, 17 million of us are in our secondary schools, in our primary schools, and if any one of us was to plant 10, 15 per year, then we will be able to cover this country with trees. Jamani, tumekubaliana tusaidiane hapo. Najua watoto wetu wamefunga shule. Monday is a tree planting day. And we want each and every school in this country on Monday to embark on a tree planting. We set a target for education. I presented a paper in the cabinet where I said the solution to this particular tree planting, where we are aspiring to plant 15 billion, is not in any other sector apart from education, because we have an army. Can you agree we plant on Monday 200 trees per school? Tafadhali nionyeshe kwa mikono. Tupande 200 minimum kwa kila shule. Na mimi pia nipate ripoti kutoka kwa kila sub-county director na tena TSC. Jameni, chairman, kuja kidogo. Hii mtu ni mfupi lakini maarifa iko mingi. Mimi nimewaambia hivi, assessment ifanywe. Yule ambaye one of the criteria for promotion of teachers iwe matters of climate change, environmental conservation, mambo ya upandaji wa miti. Hata sasa mwaka huu nataka uchukue hata kama ni kila county, tuone wale umetangulia. Na mimi ukitangulia, hata mimi siniko na kitu kidogo nitakupatia shule yako. Au nafikiri nikija au PS akija tutakuja bure? Mimi nataka nipate list ya wale walimu.
To our esteemed delegates, on behalf of Kepsha's National Executive Board, it is with immense pleasure and anticipation that I extend my heartfelt invitation to all of you to the 20th Kepsha Annual General Meeting and Conference. This year, we are gearing up to celebrate a momentous occasion, our 20th anniversary, commemorating 20 years of Kepsha's journey in empowering lives and empowering minds. Our timely conference theme is Rethinking Education Management in a Comprehensive School Setup. As we celebrate 2 decades of excellence, let's renew our commitment to empowering the next generation of leaders. Save the date, 4th to 10th November, at the Sheikh Zayed Children Welfare Center, Mombasa. Register with your respective Kepsha sub-county chairperson for participation. Together, we will unlock the potential of education, ensuring a brighter future for every child in Kenya. Let's make history together as we launch our 5-year strategic plan. Thank you and karibuni Mombasani.
Karibuni Mombasa. Karibu Mombasani.
Karibu Mombasani.
Welcome to Mombasa.